Okay, if you're anywhere near academia right now, you know the whole conversation around AI is, well, it's a bit of a mess, right? It's this wild mix of hype, a ton of fear, and just a whole lot of confusion. But what if there was a clear, practical way to actually use these incredible tools without tanking the integrity of your research? Well, today, we're diving into a playbook that shows us exactly how to do that. You know, the debate always seems to get stuck at these two crazy extremes. In one corner, you've got the hype train screaming, AI is going to write your dissertation for you. And in the other corner, you have total panic. We have to ban these tools to protect academic standards. But here's the thing our source material points out. Both of those extremes completely missed a point. The real question isn't about adopting or banning, it's about smart, responsible integration. And this quote right here, this is the core idea that's going to guide us today. It's from the author of the playbook we're looking at. The goal isn't just to do things faster. It's to be better, more rigorous, and way more transparent. Sure, AI can give you speed, but scholarship, that's a whole different ballgame, and it's something we have to protect. So how do we actually do that? Well, the source proposes this new framework called the Augmented Ph.D. playbook. And this isn't about letting AI take the wheel, not at all. It's about you, the researcher, building a responsible, auditable partnership with your tools. Let's get really clear on this definition, because the words here matter. The magic words are orchestrated, logged, and verifiable. Think about it like this. You are the conductor of the orchestra. You direct the tools, you keep a detailed log of how you use them, and every single thing the AI produces can be checked and proven. It's just another part of your toolchain, not your co-author. To make this super practical, the playbook gives us a simple three-part rule for any task you're thinking of using AI for. First, assist. Let AI help with the boring mechanical stuff, like transcribing interviews or creating the basic skeleton of some code. Second, constrain. For any task where AI is generating something new, like a summary or a list of citations, you have to put on the brakes and verify everything it gives you. And third, exclude. Some things are just completely off limits. We're talking core academic judgments, making novel claims, or obviously feeding sensitive data into a public tool. And holding this entire system together are three rules that are absolutely non-negotiable. First up, verification. If an AI gives you something you can't independently prove is correct, you can't use it. Simple as that. Second, disclosure. You have to be totally transparent about what tools you used, which version, and exactly how you used them. And finally, human authorship. Remember, the buck stops with you. The AI is a tool, but you are the author, and you are accountable for every single word.
And let's be real. This whole framework isn't about adding more work to your plate. No way. It's about fundamentally shifting your effort. By offloading the tedious, mechanical stuff to AI in a responsible way, you free up your most valuable resource, your brain, for the deep thinking, the critical analysis, and the original ideas that only a human can come up with.
All right, so the theory sounds great, right? It's a solid plan. But does it actually hold up in the real world? Let's take a look at the data and see what happened when this playbook was really put to the test.
So, the evidence is pretty compelling. Researchers who used this augmented approach saw some huge efficiency gains, especially in those really time-consuming parts of the process. Data preparation time, it was cut by nearly 35%, and the time spent on literature review dropped by 28%. That is a massive amount of time saved.
Okay, but listen up, because this is probably the most important finding of the whole study. Just using AI doesn't magically make your work better. The quality improvements, the actual gains in scholarship, they only show up when those strict verification rules are enforced. Checking sources, testing code, running diagnostics. Without that, speed is just, well, it's just speed.
And just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On one side, without controls, you get a hot mess of errors. Bad citations, buggy code, you name it. But when you apply those verification gates from the playbook, bam! Citation and code errors get slashed by over 60%. This isn't just a tiny improvement, it's a total game changer for producing reliable, trustworthy research. And a really cool side benefit of this whole structured approach is that it makes your research incredibly transparent and way easier to defend. By keeping logs of your prompts and a record of your software, you create what's called a reproducibility pack. This basically means that anyone, including your review committee or other researchers, can see exactly what you did and even rebuild your results from scratch. It's a huge win for transparency. So what does this all actually mean for you? Let's break down how to take these findings and turn them into a practical action plan, both for students and for the universities that are supposed to support them. All right, if you're a student, here's your game plan. First, make that assist, constrain, exclude rule your new mantra for every single task. Second, make verification a non-negotiable part of your workflow. It's your best defense against errors. Be upfront about your AI use from day one and start building that reproducibility pack early. Don't wait until the end. But maybe most importantly, have an open, honest conversation with your advisor and get on the same page about all of this. But look, students can't do this all by themselves. Universities have a huge role to play here. The source material lays out 3 essential pillars for them. First, they need to make verification a top-tier requirement. Second, they have to make disclosure mandatory in all manuscripts, so people are reviewing real methods, not just guessing. And third, they need to provide fair access to safe, privacy-preserving AI tools, so a student's success doesn't just come down to how much money they have. And all of this brings us to one final big thought. The AI models we're using today, they'll probably be obsolete in a year or two. The tools are always going to be changing. But the core principles of scholarship, we're talking rigor, transparency, accountability, and originality, those are timeless. So the real challenge isn't just keeping up with the technology, it's making sure our standards for what makes research good remain completely unshakable.